like, you follow, you tag people, because the topic today is on Alzheimer's and dementia. And I want to make sure that everybody gets to hear about this, because the classroom is being garbled by algorithms, because what we're speaking about is not the narrative. So we want to make sure that people are empowered, and you help those get empowered by making sure you are letting them know. So I want to make sure that we are live. Let me do a quick check. Yep, it looks like we are. And so today we are, let me go ahead and hit the record button. This is the stuff that people don't hear when they are in a podcast. Okay, so today we are talking about difficult conversations. This whole week has been about difficult conversations to have. And today we're going to be talking about those loved ones, the ones we love the most, who don't remember who we are, our loved ones with Alzheimer's, dementia during the holidays. So fasten your seatbelt, because we're going to learn and grow together. Okay, it's time to dance, everybody. Let's get that exercise for the day. Okay, I'm unmuting myself because I don't hear any music. Should we go ahead and get started, Robert?
Let me restart it, okay?
Okay, everybody's waiting to dance, but here we go. We'll have to edit this, maybe. I don't know.
Hold on. Let me start it over.
Okay. You need to share your screen.
Yeah, we were so focused on Robin's volume that I didn't share my screen.
Okay. It doesn't matter. We don't have to do the dancing. We can just get started.
No, let's start now.
We have to dance. It's so important that we dance. Right, Robin?
The Lillian McDermott Show.
Come on, Sean.
Bridges we burn, we make mistakes, then we live and learn. When life gets tough, and it seems like your best ain't good enough. If you're in need of hope, you know where I'll be. I'll be right here, right here. And when you need a friend, you can count on me. I'll be right here, waiting for you.
This is the place you can always turn to when you need a friend. The Lillian McDermott Show. To reach out to Lillian, visit her on the web at whenyouneedafriend.com. Now let's all learn together. Here's Lillian McDermott.
Hello, my listening and viewing friends. It's so nice we can meet each other on the air on this beautiful, best day ever. And for those of you who are tuning in for the first time, please know I've been waiting for you. This is a safe place where you can go to when you need a friend. It is my commitment to provide alternative ways to heal, and it is my mission to make awareness, responsibility, and truth a part of our everyday life. And I hope you, my listening, as well as my viewing friend, will feel empowered to embrace a new truth and live the life of your dreams. Well, as you know, we're entering the holidays. I don't like dating myself when it comes to classes, because when people listen to this later on, they think, oh, well, it's not the holidays. No, this is for any time. It could be a birthday. It could be any celebration. But because we're in the holidays, we're giving it the holiday twist. But the reality is that, and I shared this before, you will never be prepared. That moment where someone you love looks at you and says, do I know you? What's your name? And so nothing will ever prepare you for that until it happens to you. Well, it happened to me with my mom. And of course, I've reached out to Robin when every time that my mom's come over. Robin has been so helpful to me. Started off as someone who listened to the classroom and is now a friend. And so as we are getting ready, now my mom is in memory care, and I do want her to come and be a part of festivities, but we have the complications of COVID and all the things that are happening in the world that we know better of. We know the truth, but we still want to include these loved ones. Maybe it's not someone who's in memory care. Maybe it's someone who lives with you. Maybe it's someone who's now showing cognitive decline. And so today we're going to be talking with Sean Odle and Robin LaFrance. And they work for the Brevard Alzheimer'S Foundation. And we're going to talk about how to incorporate our special, special loved ones, those that we want them to remember who we are. And even if they don't remember who we are, we know who they are and how special they are. And we want to honor them regardless of whether or not they know it or not. And since it is our sole purpose in life to give and receive love and knowledge, I am grateful that Sean Odle and Robin LaFrance are here to do just that. Welcome, guys, to the classroom.
Thank you.
Okay, so Sean, this is your first time in the classroom. So I will start with you. I'm going to pick on you right away just to get you out of your comfort zone. Share a little bit about your background and what led you to the Brevard Alzheimer'S Association or Foundation.
Well, I guess I've always been like in kind of helping careers, helping paths, counseling, case management, that kind of thing. I happened upon Brevard Alzheimer'S Foundation when I was kind of looking for a job change. And when I did, it was a great fit. I love the population, the elderly population, individuals with dementia, that, it was a good feel. It felt right. I liked, I listened to their stories all the time. So it's a great company. It's a small nonprofit. We're all like family. So it's just it was a good fit.
Wonderful, wonderful. And how long have you been with them?
About 5 years.
5 years. Well, thank you so much for being here this morning and helping us through this time. So Robin, what about you? I know that you were very helpful to me when my mom spent some time, we were transitioning her, and she stayed with me for a week, and it was right during the COVID scare and nobody could go visit. And we had to get my mom. My father had surgery, and we knew that my dad couldn't be with my mom. So we brought her over to my house. And so I want to thank you again for your help, but you coordinate volunteers. So share a little bit about what you do and how long have you been with the foundation?
Oh, okay. Well, I've been with the Brevard Alzheimer'S Foundation since 2016. No, that's not right. I don't know. I've been there for 5 or 6 years. And I started managing their program called Project Relief, where I coordinate respite volunteers. I have a whole team of senior volunteers. A lot of them are retired in the medical field or they're past caregivers, but they go in and help caregivers for 4 hours once a week so that the caregivers can go to the store or, just take their own me time, personal time. So I have a background in respiratory therapy before that and raised my family. Going into the Brevard Alzheimer'S Foundation, even though I was used to being around elderly people, I've learned a lot about dementia along the way. Yeah.
Very good. Very good. Thank you both. Thank you both. So, do you find that during this time or, like I said earlier, it doesn't matter if it's the holidays or not, it could be any time. Sean, let's start with you. What is it that, that we need to become aware of? Some of the tips that you can share. I know the two of you have about 7 tips that we're going to be sharing today. What's the overall theme when dealing with someone who has dementia or Alzheimer's?
I guess the overall thing would just be being patient, having patience. During this time, you could have a lot of family coming in. You could be traveling. So any disruption of a individual with dementia, any disruption with their routine can throw them off and can really confuse them even more. So just being patient and kind of taking a little extra time with them, especially during this time of year, is probably key right now.
Okay, so when we can be patient with them, but when it's time, it's time. So like we had my mom over, and my mom and dad, we had them over for Father's Day. I believe it was Father's Day. And all of a sudden we're in like the middle of eating, and my mom says, okay, it's time to go. And she wanted to leave now. And she loves being with us, but that was at that moment, that's what she wanted to do. Are we supposed to scramble or distract them at that point? Do we scramble and get them out of the house, or do we just say, hey, look at the butterfly?
Distraction or
Taking a break.
Yeah, just taking a break is probably better. You don't want to necessarily be on their time schedule, but I mean, sometimes it depends on their behaviors, of course. But if you can redirect, that would be beneficial to you. But it's hard to say. It's dealing with this kind of condition. It's every day is a new day, so you kind of have to take it with a grain of salt, and then just kind of go with the flow sometimes.
Yeah. So what do you train, Robin? What do you train your volunteers to do? And what kind of training do you give your volunteers?
They do a lot of training. We do at least 20 hours before they go in the home. So we do caregiver classes. The volunteers go into the adult daycare and interact with our dementia clients for additional experience. We do a lot of elder abuse prevention, and they do some other readings, and we do ongoing training. So I have speakers from all over Brevard County come in and speak. Normally, that's what we do.
Now, can anyone take those courses?
Yes, and they can do it online right now. If you go on the brevardalz.org, there's a lot of information on that website. There's a lot of caregiving information, but you could scroll all the way on the bottom of that page, and it says classes, and there's all kinds of classes in there.
In other words, you don't have to be a volunteer to take the classes. If you have somebody who has to.
Right. And there's there's a family caregiving manual on there. I think there's probably 60 pages of it. Very good information.
Very good. Now, Sean, are you finding that more and more people are having to incorporate this kind of patience into their lives? Or what are the statistics? Can you share any statistics when it comes to how many people will be seeing, this cognitive decline in their lifetime? And is it always dementia or Alzheimer's? Can it be other things that we can be aware of?
Unfortunately, I don't have any hard statistics, but I know from us personally in our field and what we do here with adult daycare services, holiday times and things like that, we always see upticks just because of all the added stress and things like that can
sugar.
Sugar. That can definitely lead to the different behaviors. But I mean, definitely taking this the whole thing into account and using it. A lot of times, people are when they come to us looking for help, they are extremely stressed out. That we're like the last thing that they've thought of, unfortunately, and they just need help now. And having that, I guess. Doing any kind of prevention is they don't think about that they think they can do it themselves, right up until they can't, and then they're pulling their hair out, and then they're scrambling looking for help, and we have to kind of retrain people, caregivers especially when they come here, caregivers and other family members, because family members that aren't in the situation day in and day out don't necessarily see what's going on. The individual with dementia or Alzheimer's, they might be able to fake it for a little bit, depending on what stage they're in. If they're early stages, to the outside people, they can look normal. They can look like nothing's going on. They're, like I said, they're able to fake things for short periods of time. It's just grandpa being grandpa, or something like that. But the caregivers themselves that are dealing with it, 24/7, they see that the restless nights and the change in their behaviors and things like that. So retraining, like I said, not only caregivers but definitely family members as well is pretty big for us.
Very, very good. Okay, so I've been wanting to bring my mom to visit, because every time I talk to her, she tells me, you haven't seen me in a while, although I have. You haven't called me in a while, although I have. And of course, I live in her world. So if she says I haven't, then I haven't. And I apologize. I'm so sorry. I've been so busy, and I live in her world. But when you're in a situation that you find, like my mom will be so insistent, she goes on these loops where I try to distract her, and then she comes back into this loop. So let's talk about, how do we incorporate someone who is going through these loops into a family gathering? What should we prepare for? I know you have a list of things, so why don't we get started on the list, Robin?
Okay, well, number one is you want to include the person with Alzheimer's or dementia as possible. So, do something during the holidays with them, but, it's probably going to be something more limited.
Okay.
Those little tiny things can really bring a lot of enjoyment. Maybe just looking at the Christmas lights, or listening to beautiful Christmas music. Maybe it's not really loud, wild music, although, I don't know, a lot of people love the old, Christmas music.
And one thing to remember also is that depending on where that individual is at, that a lot of times that they're regressing in their timeline. So reminiscence and bringing up things that from the past, enjoyable moments, it could be very beneficial to you as well. So.
Okay. So when you're including them, are you asking them to be a part of it, or are you just telling them they're going to be a part of it?
You can do a little bit of both. It depends on what.
Because they won't remember that you asked them.
Right. Unless you're actually actively doing something, but yeah, I mean, you can do something in the moment, or you can just, like I said, just remind them of it.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's a large gathering of people, it's very easy for somebody to be sitting in the back and not be included. So it's just important to include them in some way.
So you're saying invite them to whatever, like if we're doing an activity, invite them to come join us and be a part of that, right?
Yeah.
Is that what I'm hearing you say? Okay, great. Okay, so then what's the next thing that you have on your list?
Set your own limits and be clear with those with other people. So you don't have to live up to all those expectations with your friends and relatives. You're in a different situation as a caregiver. So you got to pace yourself with that and have your boundaries.
Have boundaries. So what does that look like? Sean, do you want to elaborate a little bit more?
I guess just like she said, knowing your limits, knowing what you're comfortable doing, what you know that the person is comfortable doing as well. Just because family may want to, do some kind of outing or some big event. If you know that if your loved one isn't going to be able to do that, then let them know. Just like I don't think grandma, grandpa, whoever is up for that kind of thing, or scale it down. Instead of doing an all-day event, make it maybe just a couple hours or something like that. But just knowing your limits and not pushing things. Don't add extra stress to the situation.
Very good, very good. Okay, Robin, what's the next thing on your list?
It's kind of like the same one, number one. It says involve the person in a simple holiday preparation, or have him or her observe your preparations. Observing you with familiarize him or her with the upcoming festivities, and participating with you may give the person the pleasure of helping and the fun of anticipating and reminiscing.
I like that. So I will tell you this, this was last Thanksgiving when we were all together. This year we were kind of scattered. Everybody did their own thing. But last year we had my mom's turkey platter. We made sure that my brother brought her turkey platter. And every year my dad would cut the turkey and it's a beautiful antique turkey platter. So my brother brought it. And do you know, my mom recognized it. It was one of those moments where we were all going, oh my God, this is such a great thing. But she was talking about the turkey platter. She goes, well, this is my turkey platter. What are you doing with my turkey platter? Well, we own it now. It's our turkey platter. So, so that's really an incredible thing. And so when somebody remembers, should we make a big deal about remembering, or should we continue on as no big deal?
Sure, I would. I mean, if it's a joyful memory for them, yeah, absolutely. Why not?
Yeah, enjoy those moments when you can. That's for sure.
Well, but no, yes, I agree. What I mean by that is, I said, Mommy, you remember this is your, it's like, and then after that, I'm like, yeah, I should have just said, oh, I'm so glad, because whenever my mom will say, well, she'll say something and I'll reply back, well, no, because if she keeps insisting that she hasn't seen me, or if I'll say something, I'll say, well, no, I know about that. Well, if I haven't been there, how would I know about that? Well, I was here 3 weeks ago. I don't remember that conversation. It's like, sometimes when she does remember, I want to acknowledge her and say, gosh, Mommy, you think you don't remember anything, but you do remember. Look, you remembered this. So, so that's what I mean. I made a big deal, like, Mommy, you remember this is your platter. Is that something that would make them feel bad because I've made a big deal about them remembering something? Or should I just not even acknowledge that she remembered it because it's her platter? You see what I'm saying?
Right. I personally don't think so. I would still just be joyful that she does have that memory still, and that she remembers it. So
she knows something's going on. Yeah. Go ahead. What was that?
Well, the opposite is, a lot of, not a lot, but some people are like, oh, you don't remember this or whatever. And that's not the right thing to do. So being positive and happy about those things are really great.
Yeah. And I don't correct her. So we don't correct someone that's forgetful, right?
Right.
Correct.
We don't argue.
We don't argue, even if you know that what they're remembering is painful and you're trying to let them know that it's not real. What do you do then?
Try and redirect. If it's something that, are you talking about like a false memory or?
Yeah. Like when my mom stayed, I told Robin this, when my mom stayed with us, she kept thinking that my dad, they've been married 67 years, that my dad left her. And so she kept saying, your dad left me. I haven't spoken to him. Although she had spoken to him 3 or 4 times that day, she said he left her without saying goodbye. And she was crying and it was painful to her. So that was painful to me to not be able to bring her to reality. And she kept looping, and like 2 minutes later, she'd go back to not remembering that. And it was the same conversation. I redirected her, but at one point I just said, Mommy, you're just going to have, it was nighttime. And you're just going to have to sleep this through. I told her, Daddy has been talking to you. Daddy did call you. And then she called me a liar. And then I'm just like, I wanted her to take away the pain. In other words.
Right.
But then if I try to take away the pain, now I'm, so it's a difficult situation to know what to do at the time. And at the time I wanted to take away her pain. If it's something that she's looping on, it's no big deal. I'll answer her question as if it was the first time. But if it's causing her pain, and redirection doesn't work, do you just let them cry it out?
You can, yeah. Unfortunately, I mean, if they're that stuck, I mean, you can try. I mean, obviously, being middle of the night or whatever, it can be a little difficult. Sometimes I would just say, change the environment that you're in, change something else. Try and get her off that track. Not even necessarily just with a redirecting words or anything like that, but definitely not never the don't you remember kind of thing. But
that's that time of the day when they're sundowning.
Yes.
And so that is a very challenging time, putting the lights down and just trying to make things more relaxing, less busier time, and try to, get into that routine of evening.
Right. And nothing's going to work 100% of the time. It's just, that's just the hard truth about it. You do what you can for them when you can.
Yeah. And that's when the word patience comes to mind. And that's when it always, that P word, we just have to keep focusing on that patience and just love them where they're at. It's a difficult situation because we want to take their pain away. And sometimes, maybe they do need to cry it out. And then if I don't keep repeating it, it'll slow down. Okay. So involving them in activities is great. My mom loves to, and I'll keep going back to my mom, and you guys could give us some examples too of that. What are some activities that they may be able to handle?
I think one of the things that are not on this list that is really important is the timing of holiday events. You may not want to do a dinner time when somebody is going to sundown. You want to try to do things earlier in the day.
Oh, that's good. That's a good time. Okay. Anything else? Any other tip about doing activities at the timing?
On the spot.
No. I'm just saying that's a great tip to do it during the day as opposed to the evening, because my mom is sundowning. Do all dementia patients sundown?
Large
Probably for the
percentage.
most part. And to varying degrees, though. Some people may have much worse behaviors, depending on what's going on with them, or depending on the type of dementia and other comorbid issues that they may be dealing with.
Yeah.
But to some extent, I think that pretty much, probably 90% of them do have some form of sundowning.
So the timing is very important. We need to look at each individual and know when their moments are, their time, and then work according to their schedule. Now, these events, the smaller better than the larger events? I mean, with the larger events, there's more people, more distraction, or is that not good for them?
That's number 4 on our list.
Okay, let's go on to number 4.
It says encourage family and friends to visit, even if it is difficult, but limit the number of visitors at any one time. So have few people visiting and quietly. And if somebody does get overwhelmed, you can take them to another room with somebody else, So.
Good. So what are some of the activities or like what festivities or that they can handle best? What are some activities that they could do that you find that people with dementia, Alzheimer's are able to handle?
I think, music. I think, if you want to do caroling or whatever, music's pretty big. Music's one of those things that sticks with you throughout pretty much almost your whole life. Even with people with dementia, music's very big. So caroling, singing with family. If you grew up, someone played the piano or something like that, that could be, a big thing for them. That would be like something that comes out in my mind is like, having more music in your, just in your everyday stuff, right? Especially during the holidays.
Yes.
And there's probably some good Christmas movies. I'm looking at the top of my head where there's music.
White Christmas or
what's the Polar one? North.
It's
a Wonderful Life.
It's a Wonderful Life, right? Yeah, anything that they may, the older movies that they may, remember more. It's like I said, because they may be progressing. But yeah, for sure.
Yeah, with my mom, she loves to do artwork, so we do a lot of artwork together. And so yesterday she decorated cookies. I found my phone. I was going to show you earlier. I'll show the picture of my mom. They have lots of activities for my mom. And my mom is very crafty. So I guess each individual is different, each individual. So when you say encourage visitors, Robin, Are you talking to come to them or bring them out?
I would think somebody with dementia, it's best to keep them at their home.
Okay.
You know, staying in a routine or someplace where they're used to going to, you know, it just depends on what the family, I mean.
Right. Well, whatever that person is more comfortable with. Like I said, any change out of the routine could cause more behaviors. But if people are willing to come to them, that's probably best. Traveling can be very hectic and confusing for people with dementia. So if people can come to you, that'd be better.
Yeah, she's been asking to come over to visit. So in a situation like that, just redirect and go visit her. Because I'd love to have her over.
I mean, if she's comfortable at your house and she does well, I mean, I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying, you know, you want to limit as much, you know, travel or like far distance traveling as possible. But if she's comfortable going to your house and however far you guys are apart, then I mean, it's not something that you can't do. I just say, you know, just be wary and realize that she may have a little more confusion.
Absolutely. No, I get it. I just want to make sure that I'm doing the right thing too. It's, you know, you love, I mean, she raised me, my dad raised me, and I want to make sure that I honor that as they get older. And I've been wanting to bring her over, especially every time we talk. I've never been to your house. I want to come over. And, you know, and she remembers the next time that's like almost as if, you know, the next time is like, well, I want to come over. Okay, well, I'll come over and come pick you up. And then that's it. But then the next time she reminds me again. So it's, you know, I guess I just need to take her in the moment and not live with it longer than just the moment, because after that, she just doesn't remember much, but I do. And so, you know, before we go on to tip number 5, I want to remind all of you that are watching and that will watch later on and watch on BitChute, that make sure that, because we know that they're censoring so much, to make sure that you subscribe to whenyounneedafriend.com. Go to whenyounneedafriend.com, subscribe, make sure you like and follow me on all my social media, including my podcast and BitChute. And we're in the process of getting brand new tube up, so that, or we're trying to find another platform that we could broadcast live from. And that's becoming a little difficult. So we're in the process of that. So please make sure that if we're no longer on Facebook or YouTube, which I'm very grateful to them to allow us to have this platform, but then you go to whenyounneedafriend.com and you'll know when and who is going to be on, even if we have to upload it and not do live anymore. But this is where we learn and grow and take 100% responsibility. And when you do subscribe, you get lots of free gifts. You also get discounts. And so make sure you do that. And while you're there, make sure you check on my shop bag or my sponsors page. Make sure that, you know, Keep Me Safe Organics. I know that Robin loves Keep Me Safe Organics. You can tell, yep, she absolutely loves it. And so when you purchase Keep Me Safe Organics, or beauty products, body products that are all natural, no synthetic, that you are absolutely safe. And if you put Lily 10, you get 10% off your entire purchase. First Alternative Care will help you with telemedicine. And it's not only for family practice, but also dermatology, and for the entire, unlimited for the entire household. For the price for the listeners is $19.99, and also 3 hours a year of behavioral health counseling. And that's, again, for the entire household. So check out First Alternative Care, the pharmacy in Merritt Island, which does compounding, and you can get 20% off if you mention my name. Live Longer Medical, that is making you as beautiful on the other inside out, which is now Geyer Wellness Institute. and my affiliate programs like Ground Therapy, Brain Tap, First Alternative Therapies with Avasia. There's just so many different ways that you can be healthy, and figure out ways to when you purchase some of these products, the classroom gets financial help from them. So please support them as they are supporting the classroom. And last but not least, you too can become a donor. You too can become an enrolled student in the classroom. So figure out how you can help, whether it's your time, your talent, or your treasure. If you can give $10 or $1,000 a month, whatever you can give will help grow the classroom. So today we have Robin LaFrance and Sean Odle here in the classroom, and we are talking about our loving those we love that have dementia and Alzheimer's, and including them in the holidays. But as I said earlier, it doesn't have to be the holidays. It can be any time. It could be a birthday, their birthday. It could be any time that you want to get together is a holiday because they don't know what day it is. It could be any time you want. So we're learning a little bit more tips and how difficult it is to take them out of their home. So we can work around those parameters, include them in the festivities, include them in the activities, and encourage visitation. So those are the 4 that we've come. So what's number 5, Robin?
To prepare a quiet distraction, you could use maybe like a family photo album. If the person with Alzheimer's becomes upset or overstimulated, I mean, literally just take them to a quieter place.
Okay.
And a distraction.
Okay, I like that. I like that. And have it prepared, just have it ready so that you know, not going to scramble at the time. So have these distractions or ready to use just in case of emergency, right?
Right.
Yes. Okay, Sean, would you like to add anything to what Robin said?
I mean, just kind of going off the being prepared part, not reacting, but being proactive to situations so that if you know you have a lot of family coming over and there may be some hustle and bustle that may cause any kind of confusion or added confusion to your loved one. Just being proactive with that. It doesn't make sense for you to be reactive and then have your stress level go up when it just feeds them. So
yeah, I like that. Okay, so what's number 6?
Try to avoid situations that may confuse or frustrate the person with Alzheimer's, such as crowds, changes in routine, strange places, and try to stay away from noise, loud conversations, loud music, lighting that's too bright or too dark, and having too much rich food or drink, especially alcohol.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I had a person in my home. We had it was last year, and he had dementia, and I noticed that there were a ton of bottles that were open, wine bottles. I'm talking about wine bottles, and apparently he kept opening them and serving himself alcohol. So alcohol is not good for the demented person, right? And he just kept getting them from my wine cooler. He just kept opening the bottles, and everybody was. As a matter of fact, Robin, were you at that event? I think you were at that.
I have.
Yes, I think you were at that event, and he just kept opening the wine bottles. And at the end of the night, I'm like, who opened all these bottles? And they're like full bottles of wine, and that nobody consumed. They became my cooking wine, but so in a situation like that, should we monitor their alcohol? Most people are like, okay, drink more. That could hurt them, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. You definitely want to monitor any kind of alcohol consumption.
There are caregivers that, they will add grape juice to a wine bottle and make it feel like they're getting something.
Nice preparation there.
Yeah, or like the sparkling like grape juice and stuff like that. I mean,
yes,
you do want to be included. So
Yeah. Hey, we just make some. I do mocktails all the time. So prepare a mocktail, a special bottle just for them. That's a great idea. Okay, so avoid alcohol, avoid sweets. Which, hey, listen, that's good for all of us, whether or not we have dementia or Alzheimer's. Okay, that's a good one. And what's the next one?
So we're on number 7 now.
Yes.
Find time for holiday activities that you like to do. So if you receive an invitation to celebrations that the person with Alzheimer's cannot attend, go yourself. Ask a friend or a family member to spend time with that person with Alzheimer's so that you can go out. So you got to refresh the spirit.
Yeah, yeah. Do you find that a lot of people that are caregivers lose their socialization because they're devoting all their energy to this one person?
Absolutely. The self-care goes out the window a lot of times when you are dealing with someone with dementia. You're so focused on their health that your health starts to decline. You start having other issues yourself. So that's kind of the biggest assistance, I guess, that we offer here with our services is just giving that person that caregiver giving them back their time, giving them time to do the mundane things that you don't even that you take for granted every day.
Yeah.
But then even doing the self-care things. If you want to go get a manicure, pedicure, whatever, I mean, go for it. Do that. Take care of yourself too. Because if you go down, then your loved one's going to go down too. So, especially during the holiday times, you're so focused on them and making sure that they don't get overwhelmed. But at the same time, if there's something you want to do, then do it. Don't feel bad about taking advantage of something like that and taking care of yourself.
Well, so that brings us to the Brevard Alzheimer's Foundation and what you guys are doing. You guys are helping people with that rest. So let's talk a little bit about the services, Robin, that the Brevard Alzheimer's Foundation offers. And we're talking here, Brevard. Do all the Alzheimer's foundations nationwide, do they also provide this service where people come in as a volunteer and it's free for people to take advantage of this, right?
Free to take advantage of what services?
So your services, like when Robin came over and someone would come over from the foundation, it was donated. It was not something I had to pay for, which was helpful.
You had a volunteer, yeah.
Right. So yeah. So we have different services. So the service you're speaking of is called Project Relief, which is with the program that Robin runs, and it is it's a state-funded program that allows an individual to come into the home for up to 4 hours a week, and sit and provide companion care for that individual. And it is free to the caregiver. There's no cost to them. It's all state funded. But our other services, such as our adult daycare, is a fee for service. We also have some non-medical transport that we do. We are actually doing, since this whole crazy COVID time, we've actually started a food delivery service where we partnered with Second Harvest, and we bring non-perishable foods to individuals that aren't able to receive or go out and get food on their own, or are too uncomfortable due to COVID to go out into the populace and shop and stuff like that. So every 2 weeks we deliver about a 20-pound box of food to individuals, and it's right now it's going until I think July of next year. So it's a great program. We just did this past Tuesday 273 boxes, which equates to the way they figure out it's like four meals a box. So that's
wow,
quite a lot of food.
4 meals a box. That's great. And so how often do you deliver this?
For this program, it's every 2 weeks, every other Tuesday.
Very good. Very good. What other services do you have? I mean, you mentioned the adult care, daycare. How often do people, because I remember a long time ago, I knew somebody from my church that started an adult daycare and she couldn't get people there. I think she was ahead of her time. Is this something that's happening more and more where the people are utilizing the adult daycare for their loved ones?
I think it's becoming less of a, if you want to call it a taboo, people don't think of putting adults in a daycare, I guess, or they think it's for kids. But the people that come here have a lot of fun. That's what we do. We have fun. We they socialize. They get to hang out with people instead of sitting in front of a TV all day. So to come here, like I said, not only does it give the caregiver a break, but it gives that individual something to do. It gives them a better quality of life. So that's kind of what our main, I guess, premise is to help the caregivers and the client equally.
Yeah. So let's talk about the daycare. I mean, let's talk about what is the name of the daycare and if anybody that lives in Brevard County would like to look into it as an option, can you share a little bit more about the service?
Sure. So the daycare is actually called Joe's Club, and we actually have 3 locations, and we have one in Melbourne, one in Barefoot Bay, and one in Titusville. So we cover the whole county. We do have transportation that brings people from door to door that we use for all of our.
So they're picked up.
Correct. Yeah.
Wow.
If they need to be picked up, then we'll pick them up.
Do the majority of the people that are there, do they have Alzheimer's, dementia? Do they have cognitive decline or?
Yes, most of our people do have some form of dementia. Not all. It's not a requirement. Where we are a licensed adult daycare. So anyone basically 18 and over that either can't be home alone or doesn't want to be home alone can come and hang out with us and have some fun.
Mm-hmm.
And the people that we do have are at varying degrees. Some are very early on, some are more advanced. But we take care of them all the same. We have nurses and CNAs for direct care. They can help with anything from toileting to feeding to medication administration. So we try and do as much as we can to help out.
And what are the costs for someone who's interested? And does Medicare or Medicaid pay for any of this?
Unfortunately, no, there are some Medicare Advantage plans that might assist with the cost, but just regular Medicaid does not, unfortunately. There is some long-term care insurances that people never think of when they're younger that will pay for adult daycare. We are the only daycare in Brevard County that has a VA contract. So if there was a veteran that served, they would be eligible for services. And we also have a ton of state programs and things that we tie into for financial assistance if necessary. But as far as straight private pay, for a full day, which is anything over 4 hours, is $65, and a half day, which is anything under 4 hours, is $47, I believe.
That's great. That's great. And some of them can get some assistance. So what about our veterans? Let's talk about our veterans and the need in our community. I'm not just talking Brevard, translate for those of you who are listening from all over the world. Let's talk about our veterans. And is this something that we're seeing more and more veterans with this diagnosis of Alzheimer's and dementia?
I don't know if we're seeing more and more of it. I know we're seeing more of a push for services like ours. They're trying to maintain veterans in the home for as long as possible. With their loved ones instead of just jumping to, say, like a nursing home type facility. No one's going to provide the same amount of care as their loved ones will. So they want to kind of take advantage of that. Not only the cost savings for the government and so forth, but just the overall care in itself.
Very good. So we're talking today with Robin LaFrance and Sean Odle of the Brevard Alzheimer Foundation, but I'm sure that there are other places near you, if you don't live in the Brevard County area, that could help you. So let's talk about volunteers, Robin, because I know that when my mom came over to visit for that week, had I not had, I think it was Barbara. Was it Barbara? She was just my little angel. If it weren't for Barbara, I don't know what I would have done, because I couldn't get any help because of COVID. And she would come in and she sat with my mom, and I was able to do a little bit of work. At times, I mean, I would sit with my mom for 5 hours and I still had a lot of work to do. We would draw. So having Barbara there was just such a beautiful relief. Let's talk about if somebody wants to, maybe they have some time availability that they would like to donate their time as well. Can you share a little bit about the program and how people can get involved?
Yeah, it's great if people are interested in becoming a volunteer, and there are different opportunities to learn, and don't be overwhelmed from the idea of becoming a volunteer and not really knowing what to do about Alzheimer's or dementia, because you can, find programs to teach you how to do that. As far as the volunteer program, it's so important. And people who are retired in Florida or other areas, they want to stay busy. My volunteers absolutely love what they're doing. And it is very simple. They just come and sit and spend time with people. It's such a valuable thing for a caregiver to be able to go out and take care of themselves. And they become a better caregiver. The caregiver burnout is a real thing, and it happens real quickly. So, our volunteer programs, something that we've had for over 25 years. I'm sure there's things everywhere. Project Relief is all around the state of Florida, and there's other programs in other states. You just have to keep looking. The word respite is what you're really looking for. If you're looking for respite, you just search places for it. We are always seeking for more respite volunteers. There's certain parts of the county where I don't have enough volunteers. And I have gentlemen volunteers, just a few of them that do it, but they really, sometimes, that's such a good fit for another gentleman who has dementia. He doesn't want a lady babysitting for him. They want the companionship. So, I'm always seeking for men to come out and do that. And, my significant other, Jim, he's done that before. He's had, he's come and sat with other, veterans, and he just absolutely loves it. So
yeah. And do you find that people who are in the receiving end of your services, when they no longer need your services, become volunteers themselves?
I do, and I love that.
Yeah, because they know a little bit more. I want to share. I got the picture of my mom. I have so this was my mom yesterday. They were making cookies, of course. They were. I don't know if you can see it.
She looks great.
Yeah, she is. She's doing very well. It's hard, we love our parents, and of course she was making cookies, and of course we know that sugar is not good for you, and it's also not good for your brain. People with diabetes, they've called dementia, Alzheimer's, diabetes 3, and it's of the brain. And so I want to encourage all of you to, be preventive. It's so difficult to see your loved ones go through this, right? But you don't want to go through it either. So let's prevent it. Let's take responsibility and ownership. Excuse me. I got something stuck in my throat.
Okay. Before I keep having this on the top of my head, but I also wanted to mention that we have a caregiver support group.
Great.
And it's still active even during COVID. They're socially distancing. And we have Sharon Ramsey from the Brevard Alzheimer'S. But there are support groups all over Brevard County. in other states.
Right. Now, I was going to suggest that too. Like, depending on wherever you are, is to seek out support groups, caregiver support groups, because that a lot of times can be a good gateway to getting other services. Because if someone else is going through the same thing that you're going through, they may know of some random service or adult daycare or whatever is out there. But definitely looking at that. The Alzheimer's Association, which is the national program,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times they have links on their site to, depending on where you live. The local association website page can put you in touch with different programs there too. So.
Wonderful, wonderful. But if you live in the Brevard County area, the phone number to call is 321-253-4430. And the website is, had it right here before, and I like moved it. So what is the website again? Alzheimer's?
Yeah, it's
Brevard,
Brevard,
ALD.org.
correct. Yeah, BrevardALZ.org.
Yes. And so, whether you have dealt with it directly or you haven't, it's a wonderful place to, if you're looking for, do you need donations? What else do you need? What do you?
Absolutely. Yeah, we definitely take donations from the community. We have a medical supply closet also that we loan things to, walkers, wheelchairs, that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
So we're always looking taking donations like that. So yeah.
Wonderful. Okay, well, you guys know that this is the holiday season, and I want to encourage all of you to be inclusive and figure out how you can create new traditions with our loved ones. We got some great tips from Robin and Sean today, and so I'm very, very grateful to both of you for doing what you do. It's got to be challenging because you're meeting people at the most challenging times of their lives. So thank you for the work that you guys are doing too. Any final words of wisdom, Sean?
Just again, be patient with your loved ones. You don't know what's going on in their head right now, so just kind of just be there for them, and and take it easy.
Yes. What about you, Robin? Final words of wisdom?
Well, one of the last things would probably contact the people that are going to come for the holidays and just kind of tell them where the person is with dementia and Alzheimer's so that there's no surprises.
So communication is always key. I hear you. I hear you.
Keep it simple.
Keep it simple.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Yeah, thank you very
Well,
much.
thank you. Thank you very much. And for those of you who would like more information, please reach out to them because it is time. It is time to help all those people that helped us before. Please remember, we'll be right here waiting for you worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. This is Lillian McDermott, Robin LaFrance, and Sean Odle wishing you love, peace, joy, and unexpected abundance. Make it the best day ever. Good job. Good job. Here we go.
The opinions and advice expressed on the Lillian McDermott radio show are intended for the individual callers and guests on the program and are presented to our wider audience solely for general educational purposes. Please act responsibly and consult personally with your own medical, psychological, or nutritional expert before taking any steps to improve your life.
Today, I tell you what, today is a great day to reach out to your loved ones. It's always a great day to reach out to your loved ones. And I know that I used to have I knew this guy who was a director for a assisted living facility, and his mom had dementia. And even though he cared for and helped as a director of an assisted living facility that had memory care and independent, it was really difficult for him to even call. He hadn't called his mom in a long time. Any words of wisdom for a person who's having a difficult time dealing with their loved ones not being as responsive as they would think? Is there anything that you would like to say to them to make them want to call, to reach out to their loved ones regardless of the situation?
Well, I would encourage them to reach out to the caregiver support group. Sometimes they just need that support and help.
I guess a lot of times there's the fear of that person changing, not being the same person that you know and love.
Mhm.
But don't let that fear stop you from reaching out and maintaining that contact with them.
Yeah, that's so important. So we have a question from Eunice. Can it be reversed? Can dementia be reversed? I will say this, Eunice, that 70% of people that are diagnosed with dementia don't have it. Only 30% have it. They actually, 100% of the people who are diagnosed with dementia, 30% have it. 70% don't. Sometimes it's medications, sometimes it's metals and chemicals and deficiencies in the body. And so those are the ones that they have success with. If you do the research and do the, with all the different things that are the deficiencies for the brain. But and this is statistics from Dr. Joel Furman. These are statistics from Dr. Jacob Teitelbaum, statistics from others, Dean and Ayesha Shazai that wrote the Alzheimer's solution. So what I would like to say is that the only way you know if somebody truly has Alzheimer's and dementia is if when they die and when they pass on, that they do an autopsy of the brain. And that's the only way. And that's not right. That is not right. And so before we diagnose and label somebody that has dementia and Alzheimer's, I wish that people would do more testing to see if there's cognitive decline that could be reversed. So to answer your question, we don't know what we don't know. All we know is that there are people making decisions and diagnosis that it may or may not be. But so basically, I am just encouraging all of you to prevent. Just do as much prevention as possible by eating healthy, drinking lots of water, getting plenty of rest and exercise and nutrition, nutritional excellence, forgiveness, letting go of the past. Those are all things that can help promote the health that you want in the future. Anything you would like to add to that? Either one of you?
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of going to go off what you were saying is that depends on, for one, dementia is like an umbrella term, and there's many types of dementia. So some types of dementia could be short-term, could be like medication related, like you were saying, could be alcohol related or something like that. So definitely you want to know what you're dealing with for sure. Alzheimer's is not reversible. So if it is indeed that, then what they've been diagnosed with, then that is not reversible.
Yeah.
But yeah, just learning as much as you can about what exactly it is that is going on with them, and if you don't always take the first opinion, get a second opinion. I mean, it's a very important thing to deal with. So you want to make sure that you have as much information as possible.
Yeah. They've discovered that many of the brains that have dementia and Alzheimer's have metals like aluminum. And we have aluminum in our deodorant. Well, not keep me safe, but there's aluminum in vaccines. There's aluminum that we cook with. There's just so many things that we just need to. Prevention is key. It's difficult to reverse something, but prevention is key. So we'll leave it at that. And oh my goodness, Yvonne, she's listening from Malaysia. Thank you so much for joining us. I wasn't getting any of your messages the way the computer was set up. So for those of you, if you guys have any questions that I missed, I apologize because I'm just now seeing several of them. So thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Sean and Robin, for coming today and sharing your wisdom. This is a difficult topic, but it's one that needs to happen. And for us to be aware that even though someone has Alzheimer's, dementia, whatever, cognitive decline, it doesn't mean that the relationship needs to decline. It just needs to be reinvented. So thank you very much for everything that you guys shared today. And we will see you. Keep reaching out to people that you love and make it the best holiday ever. And so we're going to say